Okay, welcome to the Happy Hardcore Crash Course for Coders. I'm happy to see a very large audience. I didn't really expect that. I really hope your expectations aren't too high because actually I had some sort of a writer's block when it came to preparing this presentation this weekend. And well, I hope you're going to get the grips of it. So here goes. This is the Happy Hardcore Crash Course for Coders, which means the intended audience is coders. I see a couple of musicians in here. If they think I'm wrong, then don't say that. Because it doesn't really matter. And really it's for the coders. So if there's any coders, graphians are okay too, unless they are like one of the hip graphians that also make music. But proper graphians are okay too. And if one of the coders of the graphians have questions, really do ask. Always raise your hand. If you don't get something, if I talk too fast, I have a tendency to talk too fast. Yes? Really? No, but really? Already? Okay, then I will try to talk a bit slower already. Please do remind me once again if I blah, blah, blah again, because it's one of my personal main problems. Okay, this course has a goal, and it's to provide coders, revisions, and all other musically impaired seniors a way to always have a tune ready. The idea is that I've been at a couple of demo parties, and every time somebody was like, oh yeah, let's make a demo with only flashes and a picture and Gabber music or something like that. They're like, oh, but I'm too bored to make a Gabber tune, and they have the flashing picture and the music sucks. You know? And we want merry fun entries that suck, that don't last too long, and that have good music. So, but the fun part is up to the coders. I hope the coders, even if they're musically impaired, still have a sense of humor. But the music is going to be just totally merry after this course on all the parties. At least that's what I hope. However, it's not a goal to actually teach music. Don't expect to understand anything of music after this course. Really, you will be able after this course to make a happy hardcore tune. You will not understand the craps about music. Okay? You will, of course, you will have to use a couple of pieces of software that's written to make music. So in that way, you're sort of in touch with music. Just like when you do syncs for a demo, sort of like that. Okay. Why happy hardcore? That's actually a well-founded reason. Not just because I really love it, but happy hardcore, first of all, is uplifting. Demos are always more fun if they're uplifting, unless they're really atmospheric. But demos with warm music just stuck. Usually, Camera, anybody. Secondly, it's happy, and we want people to be happy. Yeah? I mean, it's called happy hardcore for a reason. I guess everybody knows what happy hardcore is, right? The music you just heard. Okay. It's often considered funny. For some odd reason, if you make a happy hardcore remix out of something, everybody laughs. I never got it because I really like it. But other people find it funny or something. That's good for votes. So, however, the most important reason is a personal belief of mine that happy hardcore can be made purely systematically. Not all happy hardcore. There's a lot of happy hardcore tunes out there that actually involve talent and that actually have been made by really good musicians. But it's possible to do a happy hardcore tune that's really quite a lot of fun to listen to in a rather systematic way, which is good for coders, musically impaired, you know the drill. So, so of course we have to start with a plan, and the good plan is half the man. I'm not sure if that's a saying, but I hope it is. Otherwise I just invented one. So there's basically two ways. I sort of gave the hint already, but there's the first way is the decent way, and the second way is the cheap and crap way. Yeah? Question for the audience. Which will we pick? Yeah, quite indeed, the cheap and crap way. So, you got the right. I really think we're sort of on the same level here. That's good. It's good when the speaker connects with the audience. Okay. So the cheap and crap way means it involves the grand scheme. Actually, the grand scheme works also for the decent way. I'll just go back. The decent way basically involves stuff like creativity and, you know, but we had the musically impaired problem. So we're going to do. The cheap and crap way actually is especially if you're actually a decent musician, then actually this one is easier than that one, because it's basically just stealing everything except for the happy hardcore part. So that's what we're going to do. So with the grand scheme, we fetch a tune. That's step one, and it's really the most important step. There's a couple of ways. First, there could be that there's one tune that you always wanted to make a happy hardcore version of. Then you, of course, should try and go with that. But if you don't really know what tune to fetch, then a very good way is to open up your favorite file sharing program and search for a cappellas or something like that. It works sometimes if you add a Z, like a cappella, because that's the lead. And really, it works. And otherwise, you can ask Oki. He has plenty. And I should have put that on the slide. Ask Oki. But and then you could list of a cappellas. Be sure it has to be a cappella. There are some songs by Cappella called "Move On Baby," and they're very good songs, but very hard to make a happy hardcore remix from. One thing about one little note about this, that if you do this and you make a demo with it, then people like Madenman flame about it on Poet. Wasn't it you? Oh, it was you. I'm quite sure it was you. Oh, okay, sorry. Okay, Madenman, not Madenman, but there are other Germans at least. And so with German demo parties, watch out. But however, Evoke, which is by far the most copyright, everything controlled, legal party there is, because a lot of sponsors and stuff, they care much more about rules than anybody else. Even they have been playing a demo with a hardcore tune with Matthias Reim in it. So not really much of trouble. But if you think you really stole the whole tune, then you maybe should talk to the organizers first. Okay. Next step is to chop it up. I'm actually going to do some step away from the presentation to show you a bit. The point is, once you get a tune, you download the MP3 or something. You can't just play the tune and add bass drums with like most tracker software. It's really uncontrollable. Also, there's very little difference in like the speed of your song and the speed of the real song, which is one big audio file, of course. Then everything starts really sucking, and we don't want that, of course, because we want quality. And so what you do, you chop the song up in little pieces. Like if there's a verse or a chorus or something, you know, the main singing part, you chop it up in pieces of like a couple of seconds that sort of match. Like usually a chorus is 1 or 2 lines that are repeated to it 3 times, and it's very funny. Like I like the example from Matthias Reim. It goes, verdammt, ich lieb dich. That's the first part. Ich lieb dich nicht. Second part. Verdammt, ich lieb dich. Well, I forgot the lyrics, but yeah, that's such small parts. They make it really easy to make the rest of the tune. So I'm going to just show that. Of course, I have Matthias Reim right here. And this is a program, it's called Adobe Audition. It used to be called Cool Edit until Adobe bought it and the authors got really rich. It works with any wave editor. So you could use really old shareware versions of Cool Edit. You can use, it's nice if it reads MP3s though. Some really old stuff don't. But SoundForge, or actually you could even try to use Renoise's built-in wave editor. We're going to use Renoise, by the way. It's a good tracker. It's really nice. And so anyway, this is the whole song. It looks like audio. And I guess you know this, right? This song? Okay. It starts very atmospheric.
Ich ziehe durch die Straßen bis nach Mitternacht. Ich hab das früher auch gern gemacht. Dich brauch ich dafür nicht.
So as you notice immediately, this part is very suitable for chopping up because there's not a lot of other music around it. There's not actually lots of drums and guitars and all the kind of stuff, only bits of and the guy singing. And that's good. You always want those parts from a tune if you don't have an a cappella, because the point of an a cappella is you only got the singing, which is perfect. So the easiest way to chop this up is to select sort of the parts you kind of want, copy it, copying, and then something like paste to new. Most programs have that. Then you have a new wave and you sort of zoomed in without losing the old one. So if you screw up, you could just do it again, sort of. And I can remove this pointer. And the fun thing about music is that usually when something starts, it's louder. So here it is sloppy, crappy, and then here, boom, it starts. And yeah, and if I So, and if I put the pointer here, right, you see that? And if I...
Ich ziehe durch die Straßen bis nach Mitternacht. Ich hab das früher auch gern gemacht. Dich brauch ich
so we got
dafür nicht.
We got like this part away or something like that. That's actually really quite long already, but whatever. Just for the time being, it should work. Paste it again to new. And actually, if you want to do it well, we want to do it well, right? How much? Okay, time works. We're gonna do it well. We're gonna. How do you zoom with this program? I think it's with the scroll bar. Yes. Hey, who the man? So you can see there's still some garble here. It's the same joke because I didn't really quite exactly cut it. So I'm just going to do the same joke again. So I think it starts over. Oh.
Ziehe durch die Straßen.
Yep. Oh, there's a ich here, I think.
Ich ziehe durch die Straßen.
Who cares about the ich? Nobody hears it anyway.
Ziehe durch die Straßen bis...
See, everybody knows what he sings now. So that's sort of the drill. I'm not going to totally demonstrate the creation of a whole happy hardcore track from scratch right here because it involves some doing this job with lots and lots of parts of a song. It's like, yeah, it would take half an hour. You'd be watching at something you'd already seen. So that's. I'm going to quit this part here, sort of. But the idea is I make many of these little pieces of...
Ziehe durch die Straßen bis nach Mitternacht.
And then from here I cut it up again.
Ich hab das früher auch gern...
Here, Matthias Reim even doesn't say the ich, so it's okay. And, I mean, he's the expert, right? So, you cut it up from there again and then further on. Then you got a couple of pieces. And that's your tool. That's it. That's what you're going to work with. Okay, this is rather systematic, but still you have to do the zooming. You have to kind of get the grips of this program a bit, but really all you have to do is press delete and copy and paste. There's no real, you don't really have to know anything about audio except that if it's big, then something new starts. Really, that's the sort of things that make this easy. There's some musical, I see Bassi looking very complicated. There's some stuff op maat, I don't know the English word, which really screws this up. So if it really doesn't work, then you pick the wrong tune. You have to try again. Or you have to ask somebody who actually knows anything about music. But the idea of this course is, of course, that you don't need to. So if you really don't manage, because for instance, it doesn't start where it's big or something, then it's a strange tune. And then you just have to fetch another tune. Okay, I'm going to go on with the presentation. Yeah, okay, so we chopped it up now. We saved it into lots of different WAV files with funny file names and stuff like that. And then we open a tracker and we fetch samples. I will show that to you now. I have a start button. We're going to use Renoise. I'm not sure if any of you have ever seen Renoise. Yeah, sorry. That's just my computer. Renoise is a very nice computer program. It's been programmed by a couple of really decent programmers. And I guess, who in here has never really seen a tracker? Okay, you've all seen a tracker, that's good. That means you've all had to work with musicians, which is probably why you're here. So, okay, this is a tracker. I'm just going to sort of, I'll explain a bit later. First, to make a song, you need to have not only like Matthias Reim, but also some separate instruments. They're called samples, or actually instruments, and like a bass drum and a hi-hat and a string, and they are short samples. You can kind of or like that, and then what you do in the tracker is you sequence it. I guess this is, I think most people knew this, but just to be sure everybody does. Trackers can play some of those sounds like at timed intervals, and more of them at the same time, so you can like make a drum set or a nice melody, or you can try and make your computer play guitar, which won't work, by the way. So that's sort of, you need all these signs. You need to have a good bass drum, which doesn't sound like you know. You need a hi-hat, doesn't like you know, stuff like that. And you need musicians, you know them. They have a sample library. They have worked very hard when they were 13 to steal lots of little WAV files from other modules and save them to their hard drive in nicely structured folders. And it's really been a hobby of some of the better musicians, which is one of the reasons I don't have such a folder. So, well, of course, we're coders, and we want instant happy hardcore, so we're not going to go that drill. So we're going to do what I always do, and it's we're going to load feed with iMac by Wayfinder and take the samples. Oh. So you load it by double-clicking, and if you don't see this window, you have to click Disk Browser first. I guess you could fetch that part. So I guess it's going to play immediately. You just heard it already. It will sound a bit different probably because Renoise doesn't play impulse tracker files perfectly. But you can basically fetch any happy hardcore tune you like. If it's a module, it has to be a module like ITRXM or something like that. So it's probably a bit old, but that's okay. Plenty happy hardcore in the 90s. So just scroll through. One tip, by the way, there's Underground Conference, a demo party also organized by Scamp, had a happy hardcore compo for a couple of years. So you could really fetch some proper modules there. And so fetch a module you like, because if you like it, then it probably has good samples you like too. It sort of matches a bit, not totally this, but good enough. It loads very long. I don't really know why. I'll just continue explaining this view a bit. This is the sequencer part. It's a table, which is good for coders because they, it doesn't look like you don't have to learn to read notes or anything like that. Time goes that way. And these are different channels, and they can all play sound at the same time. So what you see here, I don't think this will work because it's loading. Why is it loading so long? Oh well. So you could, this goes down, and then I could put notes here at different places, and then it would play that sound at that note. Another important thing is this. Oh, sorry, I should never turn with her back to the audience. This one. Oh, it worked. So that's good enough. I was talking about this part. This is the most important part for the coders. It's a sample library, sort of, or instrument library. Every row here is an instrument. It's a sound. And when you import sounds, for instance, Matthias Reim, you should be sure to not load it over your bass drum, because then your bass drum is gone. That's the important part, because then you have to totally load feed with iMac again, and it lasts 2 minutes. So that sucks. So what we do now, we go to there's a very magic part, it's called Advanced Edit, and here is Delete Patterns. Yeah. Well, I recommend you just play it a bit. Hey, music is off. It's for your enjoyment, for getting in the mood, But for the rest, after that, you can zap all patterns. It used to be called zap. I hated that they changed it to delete. Zap sounds much. But anyway, so we zapped the patterns, and as you can see, there's no patterns anymore. Everything here is empty. But here in the right, we still have all these samples. I'll just show you how one sounds, or actually I can even show you how it looks. As you noticed, Wayfinder also did the chopping up part. So he doesn't need to do this course, which is why he isn't here. This is exactly how your chopped up samples will look like. So Wayfinder in this song, he put the bass drums further down. Beautiful. Oh, wow. Etc. Beautiful. So you can play around with that a bit. If it's the first time you touch a tracker, it's going to be lots of fun to just to press buttons and it makes sound. So, and it's actually it's good because you sort of get the grips of what to do. Because with a tracker you can actually make real music, sort of. You can actually make chords, which is like a lot of fun to play with for the first time. Anyway, where was I in the presentation? By the way, you don't have to remember all the complicated stuff like where this button is. I made handouts. So I'm not sure where I was in the presentation. Oh yeah, we open the tracker, we fetch the samples, then we import the chopped song. Okay, I'm not going to actually show that right now because Wayfinder sort of already did it in this song. But you know the drill, right? So, actually I'm going to show you that a bit, just to make sure. So what I do is I go to the sample library. You see my mouse cursor, right? Yeah. Go to the sample library and go down until it doesn't say anything about Germany anymore. And in your disk browser, this is a strange feature which is very old, from both tracker times. and they kept it user interface wise. You click sample, and from sample you you go to the whatever folder you saved your chopped up samples in, and you load it. Let's see if I got any. This is probably very beautiful. So if I would import both, you see what I'm doing. I'm loading it into different slots. It may sound very obvious, but it's good to be sure that you, whenever you load something, you don't load it over something you already loaded, because then you lose crap. And well, okay, that was that part. And then we figure out the speed. Figuring out the speed is a lot of fun, because the point is what we want to do. We have these chopped up samples of singing Germans, and we want to add a bass drum below it, but probably we don't really know the real speed of that song. There's computer programs for that called BPM counters, but the problem is that actually that the BPM of renoise isn't totally exact either. So the only way to figure out the speed is a bit to try, because we want every bass drum to be totally in sync of the music, of course. Everybody gets that part, right? Okay. It's just like demo syncing. Like if you make a very bad demo and with flash on every bass drum, you need to sync it. You need to figure out the speed of the tune. So that's what we're doing here too. And so I'm just gonna get Wavefinders samples from this. Very beautiful. So I'm going to teach you a little drill to figure out the speed. This is really easy because it was still right, because it's Wavefinders tune. Usually it isn't. So I'm going to act as if it isn't. So it's here or something, whatever. And what I do is I enter notes. I'm really going to enter notes now. It's going to be a first timer for you guys. And I press a space bar to go into edit mode. All trackers that look or sound like Fast Tracker have the same system. It's a bit strange, but space bar means edit. And then with arrows I can go through and page up, page down. Oh, terrible buttons nearby each other on the laptop. I can enter a note by using any of the keys from my keyboard. I can't really show you, but like the letter keys, the A to Z keys, the QWERTY stuff. So if I press edit, and then I enter the note here. And I'll explain you a bit more about notes in a while. But the point here is that I'm going to play this note, and then I'm going to put my pattern on loop and play it. Oh, that sucked. Now, if we would have had the speed correct, the pattern would have run faster, and it wouldn't have sucked. Which is what we want, because if within one pattern, one of those chopped up samples loops correctly, like it sounds like it's just the same person singing the same thing very often after each other, but it doesn't sound like anything that totally fucks up. Then you're sort of really nearby the right speed. Getting really on the right speed requires some more trying out and fiddling and something like that, but it should be adequate for now what I'm teaching you here. So what I do is I increase the speed, for instance, and I know it was on this, so it's very easy. Did you notice that was sort of in the rhythm? Yeah? And that the previous one wasn't, like halfway some singing part was. So that's what's sort of the way to try it. There's some more sophisticated ways, but they're a pain. So if you really want to be totally perfect with the speed of your sample, you can actually also in the instrument settings here, you can change the fine tune of your sample a bit, because you can't really do a floating point with BPM, sadly. But if you play in tracker programs, if you tune up the tune, it's faster too. It's no hip time stretching thing. Any sample that you play higher is faster, and every sample that you play lower is slower, which is why it's called lower, of course. And so we figured out the speed now, and we're now going to figure out the chords. This is the hard part. Really, it's the hard part, because songs have chords. I'm not sure you probably have heard music a couple of times. So the point is that if you have a dance tune like that, you know, often it will, you know, it has like two different levels for the bass sound, and Every song has that, except for techno songs and stuff like that, or intelligent dance music or whatever. But those are for sale in the tent. He doesn't sell happy hardcore. So we're gonna try and figure out like the how do I put this? The harmony of the music that's behind the song. We have a song and it's singing, but it sounds only nice when there's strings and pianos that accompany the singing. You know, singing looks like that is usually very boring, and that's why there's usually orchestras with Pavarotti as well. And so usually when you make a song, which is the decent way, you make these chords up. That's the creative process. You try to make melodies and harmonies, and put all your musical knowledge and devotion and emotion into what you're going to make. But luckily, emotion isn't really an issue for happy hardcore. But so the chords. I'm going to go back to Renoise, and I'm going to show you here the instrument envelopes thingy, because it has a piano. I guess you have all seen these piano things ever, right? How many people have never tried to play a little melody on a piano? We've all touched the piano, right? Okay, no, that's good. No, really, no kidding. But okay, I'm going to teach you a little bit about notes here. I'm not sure how necessary it is to teach this, but I'm going to anyway, especially because it sort of works with the time. This thing is called a C. I think in Spain it's called a do. And but we call it a C because in the tracker it's called a C. And this one is a D, E, F, G, A, B. Yes, so it starts with C and it ends with a B. That's sort of silly, but it's easiest if you start here. You can recognize it by the two black keys. So left of the two black keys is a C. This one is also a C, and this one. A little bit about, they're all called C, because they all sort of sound the same. And they are exactly, in physics terms, they're an octave higher, which means they have, this C has exactly double the frequency of that C. And this one has exactly double the C of that C. So if you would put all the notes on a line, the frequencies would be like a logarithmic or an exponential or something in scale. And it would go up like that, yeah? I think it's logarithmic. The point is, what I want you to understand is that the sort of, in that way, the distance between each note is equal. Not absolutely for the frequency, but like the relation between C and a C sharp, which is a C with the, oh, of course you know it because it's a programming language too. It makes it easier for me. It's good. Thanks, Microsoft. So the C divided by the C sharp's frequency is the same as the C sharp's frequency divided by the D's frequency, etc. It doesn't actually matter whether a key is black or white. You should really think of them as one linear row. The black and white thing was made up for people with real hands, by pianists and stuff like that. Also, actually, the terms. People call this a full note, and the difference between this is a half note difference. It's strange because this is the same as this is between these two. But this is a full note. This is a half note. It really doesn't make sense. So we're only going to think in half notes, which is really the unit of notes. So really, the reason I'm telling you this is that I'm going to teach you exactly two chords, and then I'm going to use the transpose feature of Renoise, which can turn these two chords into any other chord that a happy hardcore tune could possibly have. So. About notes, the people who wrote trackers had a great idea to, because back in the days not all the cool musicians had MIDI keyboards yet, and also they didn't really fit into their Amigas. So it did fit into their Ataris, but you know, Amiga. So so they made up a way to make music on a normal computer keyboard. I can't really show you. Oh God. I wanted the piano. Wait, I'm going to scroll down and fetch the piano. Yeah, here we go, piano. Oh. And you saw that those keys went down. The numbers, they don't care about the numbers. Numbers don't mean anything. And of course it means something, but then it's not relevant. So I'm going to try to show you this way, see, because there's a beautiful light here. Oh. So it's upside down, of course. Can you all see this? if I, they're all nicely in a row. And actually the bottom row, twice to the bottom from the Z on, is not in front, but beautiful. So I can, in the same way, I can make chords by pressing multiple buttons at the same time. Aha. Okay. Merry, isn't it? And the idea is that one row higher on the keyboard maps to the black keys. You can see what's being pressed over there, right? You should fiddle it out with a bit for real with the tracker, and you will see what you're doing. It's really easy if you open up this view, which is the instrument envelopes, to see what you're actually doing. Then you will really quickly figure out what the keys do. So I'm going to teach you 2 chords, and I want you to look at this part so you can see which keys I'm pressing. Oh, Vasya is leaving me. Okay. Anyway, stay. Huh? Oh, okay. Oh, boring. I don't think there's many happy art countries anyway. At least I didn't hear of any. So there's not really a reason to go there. That's true. We could actually... but it's already running, and... That would have been a good idea, really. Shit, that would have been so nice to actually enter a tune from... Okay, the chords. You can see that I'm pressing 3 buttons, right? Chords are always 3 buttons. They aren't really, but in our world, they are always 3 buttons. So this is called C major. It's called C because of the first note being a C, and it's called major because it's happy and merry. There's also C minor, which is a bit sad. And you can see that there's only one key difference. It's the middle one. I'm not sure whether you see that very nicely. It was this black button, which is a D sharp. It's not in musical theory it's not called a D sharp, but it's a D sharp. And musical theory is terrible, especially when it comes to sharp and moves and stuff like that. So those 2 chords are the only chords we're going to use. Of course, once you try with this a bit further, and once you start doing your second happy hardcore tune, you can actually do your own chords and be very creative and all that kind of stuff. You can actually really try the decent way. But for now, 2 chords are enough. What we do is we enter those chords. I'm going to just delete this one, and I'm going to enter those chords. Renoise has a very beautiful feature of putting chords into a track. I can press the arrow button here and make the track wider. So I have multiple rows for notes. The last row here, by the way, is for effects. It's a very sophisticated feature on Amigas and totally uses on new computers. I don't know why they show these by default. You can actually turn them off, which is much better. But anyway, I have a wireless network. Whatever. So I'm going to enter these notes that I just pressed. Of course, this chord is in the handout. So I can play it. I can play it again. Play is, by the way, the right control button, Amiga. I'm not actually sure if that's from Amiga, but so I'm going to select it. You can select it just like in real Windows programs by dragging with the mouse. Okay, and then I'm going to once again go to our magic. Is it here? It's here, right? Oh God. No, it's not. Oh no, I have to really press buttons. Okay, then I'm going to. That's not in the handout. Take notes. Shit, I thought there was a button for that. There. Transpose. What you do with a transpose is you sort of add up. You know, like when you code a vertex shader, you can you can have a vector of like 4 floats or 3, like 3 floats. Oh, these are all three are a float. This is a normal, yeah, and I wanna translate the normal. I don't know why we ever want to translate a normal, but we're going to do that anyway. And we're going to add like +1 to all of the X, Y, Z. And, the vertex shader sort of eats that and adds. If I do this chord +1, all separate element gets +1. We do the same. So we got plus 1 half note, which is the unit of music. So I transpose by, I think I can just press this. Yes. Okay, so the magic button is plus 1 and minus 1. Those are the magic buttons. And now it's higher. See? Oh. Ha ha. See how many chords we can make. Etc. So, and there's plus 12 and minus 12 there because it's exactly 1 octave. You can notice that if I do this. It's the same, you can really hear that it's the same chord, but it's higher. So that's like that's why the 12 is there, because the 12 half notes exactly 1 octave, and it sort of fits. So what we do is we're going to put a wayfinder back. No, not wayfinder, Fleetwood Mac. This one. Oh. Oh, that sounds like crap. Yeah? No? Any close? I'm not sure if this is a... Oh God. I dropped... Okay. So... See? It's not totally perfect because I think it's some fine-tuning thing, but that's the idea. That's the way we're going to figure out the chords. So if you chop your chorus real small, because the chords change after a while. Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies, it's the same chord, and then there's a different chord afterwards. And you have to figure that out again. So if you make sure that that different chord is in a different chopped off part of your original song, then you can just pull the same trick for all the chords. Best is just to write them down, and then you figure out the chords, which is like basically all you need for decent music. Okay, I should speed up. So everybody got what I did here, right? And it looks easy, right? Systematic, right? Yeah. Okay. So let's figure out the chords. Of course, oh no, I'm getting there. There right now. Wow, actually, my structure of this. So next, we're going to make a pattern. Oh, it's low, sorry. We're going to make a pattern, and a pattern is a term from Renoise. This whole view is from Renoise, from Tracker World. It's not a musical term. This thing is a pattern. One such table is a pattern, and it's usually 40 rows long. We could make it 80 rows as well, but whatever you like. This is hex. We're all coders, so we know hex. Renoise and most tracker programs work with hex, which kicks. Because music and hex really match, because everything in music is in 4s as well. Not notes, which is 12s, but like, isn't it? Yeah, I'm talking about real music. So, so it sort of really fits, because you can see here that 4, 8, C, 10, and you will notice after a while that at 0 and at 10 and at 20, it's nice to put new changes in the song. So. Once you do this, you will really quickly notice that it's very handy that it's hex. So, this thing is a pattern, and we're going to fill it up with lots of quality content. First off, we have a bass drum. Yeah? My bass drum, what did I put here? Put it on 3, okay. Yep. I'm going to delete this again. That's of course a very sophisticated way to delete this that I just did. But no, the del button usually works. So I'm going to go to the bass drum, which was here. See, bass drum. Oh, no, bad editor. No. Nice, eh? So I put it here, something in track 2. And I put a bass drum every 8 rows. My BPM, I just figured out, speed is on 3. It's in these handouts. Just put speed on 3. Don't think about it, speed on 3. Really, or on 6, but then you would have to put these bass drums every 4 rows. The speed thing doesn't make sense. Really, it doesn't. It did in Pro Tracker time, but not anymore. Anyway, so I put a beat every 8 rows. And if I, starting to sound like a tune, right? Okay. Next is our hi-hat. Where's my hi-hat? Hat. No, that's a sucky hat. I want a different hat. So, hey, this is a much nicer bass. Oh, let's just change this. Okay, there's a way that I just did edit step. I put it on 8. So I can do this. And this is better. Yeah, here we go. So, Wayfinder is a solution for everything. I think this is the hi-hat. Yep, haha, I knew that. I've been using the tune so often. So, we put the hi-hat also every 8 rows, but exactly half phase. Listen. I'm going to pull the same joke again with edit step. So I'm going to... It's not very hard, as you may notice. We're going to add a clap on every second and fourth bass drum, so every even bass drum. The clap is not necessary, but it's nice usually. If you want your happy hardcore to be a bit more gabberish, you should put a clap on every bass drum instead of only. Oh, so. Okay, and we could try actually if you would add a little bit of closed hi-hat, which was hat 03, this one. It's like a sucky hi-hat. You have the real hi-hat, sucky hi-hat, but it's for little extras, just like the difference between a beat and a beat that has this little something. Okay. So we're going to put that every 2 rows. Naturally, all of this is in the handout. But it's good that you see it here because it's not very clearly in the handout. So, oh, that sucks. So I think for the hat I'm going to have to put the volume down a bit, which is possible with the amplify. So. I think this is wonderful. Yeah, of course it's not very wonderful, but it's very wonderful for our purposes. So, so much for the drum set. It's done. This is the drum set. You could like add more if you're into quality, but cheap crap way, you know. Remember the beginning. So now we're going to go back to the chords we just figured out. We did transposing the chord and figured out which chord we had and which chord matched our tune. And we're going to use we're going to add a bass line, which in our case is a very simple bass line. What's a good bass sound? Sorry, wrong button. Oh, beautiful bass sound. So we're going to put a bass sound in between every bass drum as well. Yep. How much time do I have? Oh God. Okay. Well, we're going to. You put the bass tone, which is the lowest tone of your chord. Chord is 3 tones, like C, E, and G. C was the lowest, so I put that for the bass tone. It always works. Okay, that's it. Of course, you have to like use a different tone when the music changes, but I have no time anymore. So I'm gonna just finish up. Bass drum, open, high, close, high, clap. It's like, okay. Strings too. That's for the chords as well. We also needed to make a song, but there'd be really no time here, so I'm just going to show you this. The tunes have this verse and chorus. This structure is it. The 2-minute 30 part, I'm doing this in 10 seconds, is what the bridge is in rock music. Usually when people make happy hardcore or Eurodance, they run out of ideas after about 2-minute 30s. Yeah. So they put some really sloppy in between parts. In rap, you could also make a rave part there with like sirens and little melody. It works too. Or something which is a bit sloppier, like some chili in between, and then you could do the chorus twice again. Really, and I want you to check it out. If you listen to Eurodance or Happy Hardcore, you will find this part. It's like a little empty in between part after the second chorus, and it's always falls during 2-minute 30 of the song. Really, you should check it out. You like many 90s music, like also figure it out. Okay, so then you have your song done, and you could render it to MP3 and win the compo. That's it. Come to Outline and to Demo Zone, which are 2 excellent demo parties in Holland. And actually at Outline we have beds. Thanks. Thank you. Okay. It's okay now. I have handouts. I have 20 right now. If you want more, I'll come get the organizers to print a couple more. So all of the people, I'm just going to hand them out at the entrance over there. Can you make them download? Oh yes, I could. But I want to hand them out to you right now anyway. They're quite crappy, but hopefully they will help you a bit. But yeah, I'll, okay, how do I announce that? Oh, I guess, oh, yes. I will put them online, the PDF, and announce it in the Breakpoint forums of the Breakpoint website. I'll do that right away after the seminar. But I'm going to hand these out as well, so, yeah, I guess I'm going to stand over there, and then you could just walk out and hand it out. You know?